Hey guys, today's Sunday, May the 23rd of 2021, and I wanted to go over the markets price action from last week. This is a market recap. But without any further delay, let's get into it. These are the things I have on my radar that I'm watching. Let's start off with the dollar. King dollar. I don't know if it's king now. As you can see, it's in very bearish territory. Below the clouds, below the moving averages. But one thing you want to keep an eye on is this level 89.96 value area low, and we pierced it on January 4th, made it 89.20, popped up, point of control, came back down, now retesting it. The next week price action is bullish. That means a failed new low. That means that it could correct up. Now, could it continue? It all depends. There's a lot of resistance up here. You got point of control, 93. Has to get above that. Needs to push through the linear regression channel. It needs to get above the 50 at least, which is 92. So we'll see. But keep an eye on the dollar. If it's going to continue selling off, then we're going to take out 89 and we're going to hit 88. Hit the linear regression channel, 87. And if it's really extended, R3, 86. As you can see, it's all weak. And the daily's all choppy. A lot of, mixed signals. But it's holding this 89 value area low. And it's at a S1. So we'll see. So keep an eye on that, especially if you trade Forex or hold commodities. Let's go to GC. Gold futures. Same thing here. To be we hit resistance at the linear regression channel. We hit the cloud. We broke above 1879 or 1881, even above point of control. There's a lot of resistance here. Tom D. marks a candle sequential number. Next week will be the 9th. So it'll be interesting to see. We got a little weakness here on Friday. But you can see that the last 3 weeks were very strong, very bullish. This whole week, very strong. Looking at the chart, it's very bullish. Let's say it's going to continue going higher. Targets would be 1904. The ultimate target would be the 1966. And if it wants to retest and push higher, well, 2089. But we'll see. June is coming up, so we'll see what's going to happen. But I'm going to be tightening up my stops Monday in regards to the gold futures. And let's see what happens. Let's go to GLD. Same thing. Interesting is that on the GLD, we already hit the ninth candle on the sequential. Linear regression resistance broke through this resistance level 175. Now let's say it was going to push higher next week, break out of this cloud. Targets is 178. This swing pivot high of 183, and the top target is 185, value area high. You're above the 200 on the daily. Definitely the value area high, 177, all the way to the top of the linear regression channel. A little, little weakness here. Nothing to be concerned. The last 3 weeks were very bullish, but you're in the cloud. In order for gold to continue going higher, it needs to get out of the cloud and close above it. But I'll be tightening some stops on my gold positions. Talking about gold stocks, Yamana. Really didn't do much. I got in at 450. It couldn't even get above 551 or point of control or even the linear regression channel, and it's kind of more in the cloud. You can see on the daily, it's a little more chop. This is what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Very bearish. Bottom feeders came in on Friday, trying to support it. Below the 200, so it's not as strong as gold futures and GLD, but the last 2 weeks were pretty good. So I'm going to be tightening my stops on my Yamana also. Let's go into silver, which I haven't really covered here. You can see that it's just consolidating, going back and forth. It's chopping around, still, still bullish, still hasn't lost any key levels. Point control is at 25, and it's just kind of chopping around. You see a little more weakness here. It's like what, Tuesday, Wednesday, bearish, Thursday, bullish, and then Friday, they slam it down. So keep an eye on silver. I don't have any positions on silver. But if things start turning around, this might probably be the first one to go. Let's go to uranium sector, CCJ. I'm going to be locking in profits Monday or early Monday. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to alarm anyone or freak anybody out. But I'm going to take some profits and just kind of wait for this pullback to happen. And if it doesn't happen, and it starts pushing higher, then I'll just buy in and continue riding the wave. But I've got a good run on this one, and I figured I'd take some profit, lock it in. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to leave it at that. As you can see, the last 2 weeks were bearish. And you can see that Friday was a little weak. Thursday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were bearish. Little weakness here. You can see that the cloud is still positive. Everything is still looking intact and good. Just, we got push up here, value area high of 2026, flush down, push a little higher on the 7th. The date I had was the 17th to keep an eye on, the 11th, which was maybe here. It was the 10th. The 11th I was out of my radar, and then the 17th. And the 18th, you got this pop of 2054, and then, pull back, and now it's getting another pop. So we'll see how next week goes. And you can see in the weekly, it's still trying to push higher. And that's all. That's all I'm going to say. Blocking in some profit and enjoy it. Long term, yeah, it's going to go higher. We'll leave it at that. URA. Also, I'll be locking in profits Monday. So that's what I'm going to leave it at. If you're a long-term bull, then you should continue holding. I have my own style of trading, so I can lock in, pull back, buy some more. So I've got a good run on URA, so we'll see how that goes. Last 2 weeks, last week was bullish, but with low volume. 2 weeks ago was a little bearish, so it's kind of choppy. You can see it's a little more volatile here on URA compared to Cameco. Cameco is a little more stronger because it's at the top of the range. But you can see that URA, it's getting a lot of volatility, a lot of signals in there. Let's go to crude oil since we're in energy. Crude oil has a very interesting pattern. Look at that. You got a high here. Whatever that is, 67.98. Pull back. Then, as of right now, it looks like a fail new high. The Hekanashi is about to turn. And last week was very bearish. Look at that right there. The last 4 weeks were very good. But this one was very bearish. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was very bearish. Friday, bottom feeders came in. You can see the, I close this up. You can see this pattern, up, down, up, but didn't push higher. You can see it right here. So it'll be interesting next week if we could stay above the cloud. There's a 50 right there. We're very close. This is the PP pivot point 62. You got this level right here. If next week we're below 62, we're going to be testing some lower support. 59, 60. Those kind of levels are going to be looking at to retest. And quickly we'll go over the equities. S&P, you can see that the last 2 weeks were very bearish. You got a signal on the weekly, and it's getting really choppy on the daily. You can see right here. This is just really focused in. But above the 50, you know, Friday they closed up strong. So we'll see Monday. Said next week is going to be, this week, it's going to be an interesting week. NQ. Very choppy. Sell signal or weakness. Last couple of weeks bearish. Last week was. Sorry about that. My boy came in, asked me a question. Anyway, where was that? NQ. As you can see, value area high, 1388.9, just chopping around there for the last couple of weeks. And look at the daily, look at the cloud. It's about to turn over. So now price is in the cloud. This is when it gets wild and crazy. If you don't believe me, you're going to see it now this week. If we can close above 1361.6, and if we push higher, we're going to have to deal with this linear regression channel up here, or even this one. And this is a value area high and the cloud. So it's probably going to be interesting next week. The Dow Jones showing the Hikanashi is getting a little weaker, very choppy. Last 2 weeks were bearish in volume. And Thursday and Friday, low volume, but so far bullish. You can see that bottom feeders came in, bounced off the 50, bottom of the linear regression channel. So now things are narrowing in on the cloud. So you can see forecasting. So we'll see if we can retest that 35,000, or if we're going to push lower for next week. What else I have? Russell's just been chop fest. As you can see, the MACD hasn't even turned positive. And it's just back and forth in the mobile. This is probably the worst one on the weekly. It's already negative. Value area high, 2359. Can't even get above it for weeks. And look at the volatility. This one, you're already below the cloud. So this was probably the first one to go. What else? I think that's it. I think I covered them all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. But my game plan for next week, in regards to chemical, lock in some profit, URA, my uranium royalty. I'll keep that one because I got in, at a good price. That's like long term. But the other ones I'm gonna lock in some profit. And my Yamana gold, I'm tightening stops. And my gold futures, I am tightening stops. Because it's going to be interesting next week. Keep an eye on the dollar. Keep an eye on equities. And keep an eye on crude oil. Hopefully you like this video. And I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on the markets.